40 bizarre psychological facts about sex and the brain that will blow your mind. Your brain processes sexual rejection in the same way it processes physical pain. That's why being turned down can hurt just as much as a slap. During orgasm, the brain's reasoning center literally shuts off. You become temporarily irrational by design. According to neuroscience, the brain can't fully distinguish between emotional intimacy and sexual arousal. That's why cuddling after sex feels so powerful. The scent of someone's natural body odor can activate the brain's reward center even more than their appearance. Your nose might be choosing your partner, not your eyes.
A study revealed that the brain releases more oxytocin during casual sex with emotional connection than during sex with a long-term partner without emotional intensity. Your brain can become addicted to a specific person's touch, not sex in general. This explains why some people can't move on even after years. When sexually aroused, the amygdala, the fear center of the brain, becomes more active, not less. That's why risk can enhance pleasure. Neuroscientists found that sexual fantasies activate the same brain regions as solving puzzles. That's right, desire can be a mental workout. Sexual frustration activates the same brain pathways as hunger. That starving feeling? It's not a metaphor, it's real neurochemistry. The brain remembers embarrassing sexual moments more vividly than pleasurable ones. It's a survival mechanism to avoid social rejection. According to fMRI scans, the brain sees your partner's orgasm as a personal achievement. That's why giving pleasure can be more satisfying than receiving it. Your brain prefers novelty during arousal, even if your heart craves commitment. It's evolution's way of increasing genetic diversity. Watching your partner laugh can activate brain areas tied to sexual attraction. Humor literally turns the brain on. Sexual arousal increases memory retention. That's why emotionally intense encounters are often unforgettable. According to studies, the brain finds anticipation more arousing than the actual act. Imagining sex can sometimes trigger stronger responses than having it. Your brain temporarily releases pain-relieving chemicals during sex. For some, this makes sex a subconscious escape from physical or emotional pain. During orgasm, over 30 parts of the brain light up simultaneously. It's the most neurologically intense moment a human can experience. Psychologists say post-sex anxiety is common because the brain crashes chemically after a high. It's like an emotional hangover. The brain can link arousal to completely unrelated objects or scenarios if they were present during early experiences. That's how fetishes form. The cerebellum, a part of the brain involved in coordination, plays a surprising role in rhythm during intercourse. Yes, your brain helps you keep the beat. According to neuroscience, fantasizing about someone triggers the same dopamine spike as actual touch. Your brain doesn't need skin to feel sparks. Brain scans show that sexual jealousy activates the same region as physical threat. Your brain interprets romantic competition as danger. People with higher levels of creativity show more neural overlap between imagination and arousal zones. That's why artists often have unusual desires. Sex-related thoughts are often processed in the same brain areas responsible for visual processing. That's why what you see matters so much during attraction. Your brain releases less dopamine over time in long-term relationships, unless new stimuli or emotional depth is introduced. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for impulse control, is almost entirely offline during high arousal. That's why people make risky choices in the heat of the moment. Sexual trauma can rewire the brain's arousal map, creating unusual triggers or shutdowns. It's not psychological weakness, it's neurological defense. Psychological arousal and disgust activate neighboring brain regions. That's why some people experience both simultaneously during taboo fantasies. When someone whispers, your auditory cortex becomes hypersensitive. It's a primal trigger that mimics survival attention and enhances intimacy. Your brain can sexually respond to someone before you consciously recognize them as attractive. Subconscious cues beat conscious logic. Studies show that the smell of ovulation increases testosterone levels in men without them realizing it. The brain detects fertility without permission. Mirror neurons in the brain make you feel your partner's pleasure during intimacy. This is what fuels empathetic connection during sex. Mental stress can block the brain's arousal signals. That's why relaxation is often the real aphrodisiac. The brain doesn't just remember sexual experiences, it emotionally ranks them. Your brain has a top 3 whether you like it or not. Your brain's default mode network, the self-reflection system, goes quiet during orgasm. In that moment, you lose your sense of ego and time. Men and women process arousal using slightly different brain circuitry, but emotional stimulation still ranks high for both genders. According to neuroimaging, the brain stores intimate memories in the same region as major life events. That's why even one night can echo for decades. Post-orgasm, the brain releases prolactin, a hormone that suppresses arousal. That's why the refractory period is more mental than physical. Your brain creates a stronger attachment to partners you sleep with after emotional vulnerability. That's not just bonding, it's neurochemical fusion.